guys, what is crack-a-lackin'? Somebody give me a 5 for 5 and we will roll into this. I quite literally just threw this together. This just happened. I don't typically do this, but I wanted to give everybody kind of a heads up on this one because this is directly facing Earth, and it's not like, obviously nothing's grid down at the moment, okay? I don't know, I don't think it's going to be, but what you're looking at in front of you, those are two different sunspots. The one at the top erupted earlier, and now it erupted again, and the one here is also now becoming very active. Very, very active. So we're going to jump into that in just a second. This is not going to be a very long one. I don't have a whole bunch of data to give you. This is currently, well, the flare itself has probably actually died off as far as where the sun's at, okay? But it takes some time for these models to catch up. And typically we're, depending on what model you're looking at, anywhere from an hour to 4 hours different from when the event actually happened. And it can be a little longer than that depending on which model you're looking at. Sometimes it's up to 3 days. But I wanted to jump out here because these two sunspots, this one here, I would have been expecting this one to be doing all of the stuff. Because it's very complex, and I'll show it to you how complex it is here in just a minute. But let me go ahead and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. And I'm not going to, again, guys, hey, please share this one. Like, share, subscribe, all the YouTuber stuff. Memberships are now live. I'm not sure if you guys seen that. You guys can become a channel member. You can actually gift memberships too. Some people don't know that. So thanks to everybody that's became a member already. If you'll be, you can look what the membership stuff is. I'm not going to go into detail tonight. I plan on doing a little bit more better of an explanation on that in the next day or so. Maybe even later tonight, because I kind of see me coming back probably in the middle of the night, even maybe closer to the morning to give you guys an updated report. Okay? But yeah. Hey, Ron's in the hizzy. Yeah, guys, that's why his name is green now, by the way, and he's got that red Kool-Aid emoji next to him. So yeah, that's one of the things. But we got this X-Flare, guys. I don't want to stray from this, okay? I don't want to take anything from this. The membership stuff and all that stuff can wait. Oh, Kill, come on now. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So yeah, that is a big flare. Now I'm going to update this because literally this just happened. Okay, so I'm gonna see if we get any more imaging, and yeah, we're getting ready to. Well, thank you, AA Ron. Dude, you have got to be, wow. I am so humbled. Not even kidding. Carrie, Born Again Buddhist, K-Heads 2. You guys just got free memberships from AA Ron. So, yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I tried to keep the price points low also. Anyway, I need to stay on this, guys. I don't want to, I'm not taking from this because this is something we need to talk about. And so first question I always get with X-Flares, is it grid down? And it's a very legitimate question when we're talking X-Flares, especially where these are located. Now remember, this one here is the one I showed you in my previous live stream when it was over here. And if you go back and look at my thumbnail, well, we actually don't have to do that. I'll show it to you in a second. But you can see this big looping arc. This erupted straight out earlier. Now, I don't think that eruption is going to hit Earth. It's, for whatever reason, this sunspot, when it's firing CMEs, it's going straight up. It's going straight north, I should say. Okay? Now, east-west is reversed when talking about the sun. So this would be the east limb of the sun. That would be the west. Now, we're looking at the 131 angstrom. It's just a part of the light spectrum our eyes can't see. And it's from a satellite called SDO, and it's in geosynchronistic orbit. All that means is it stays over the same part of our planet. And really all you need to know as far as that goes, it's from our perspective. If you walked outside and looked up and could see the sun like this this filter does, this is something you could see from, and this is what you would see. Okay? And Soho, the other satellite I show you guys a lot of, and we're going to go take a look at it also, is the same way, but the satellite's in a different place. The satellite sits out in front of Earth about 1 million miles closer to the sun than what we are. And it's always looking at the sun. All right? Now, I'm going down through here and I'm looking at these. Now, on LASCO C2, this is Soho, right? Here's that Soho satellite, right? It orbits right in front of Earth, the sun, at the same speed we do. So again, it is from our perspective. Okay? So that's just how much is, yeah. Vicky, it's $4 a month. I set that lower than what most people do because that's not my intent. I just want to build a better connection with you guys. And, you know, you guys have helped me out a lot anyway. So that's, yeah, it's just $4. Well, thank you, Lady Y'all. I appreciate you. Also want to give props to Sue. She was first membership. So, yeah. And I'm going to be doing some really cool stuff over there and you know, membership stuff. And it, you know, guys, I mean, it's nothing here is going to change as far as what I show you. So I'm just adding things, adding extra things. So I just appreciate anybody that does any of that and all that, right? I mean, okay, but please share this one out. I really want people to do that. This is something that could end up being a decent event, okay? I'm not saying any kind of power outages or anything yet. I don't know that yet. But when we're looking at this satellite here, Soho, and thank you, Ilea, for the suggestions that you've been giving me. I'm trying to put those into work. Well, thank you. Ilea's the bomb. Gunslinger is a new member. Welcome to the Kool-aid Krew. Heck yeah, baby. All right, now, I want to stay focused, and Ilea's been giving me some suggestions on that and how I can make that better. And she's had some really good ones too. And I'm going to put a couple of those, I'm going to implement those here very shortly. But I've been working on trying to stay more focused, guys. You see how I kind of squirreled a little bit there? I'm still keeping it to what we're talking about, but I want to kind of minimize that because I got so much I want to tell you in such a short amount of time. I really do squirrel quite a bit, and I know it's not good. I know it bugs people. When I'm watching other people do that, I get bugged, you know? So I get it. But just cut me some slack. I'm trying. Anyway, so that satellite Soho right here, if there's a CME, it'll detect it and it'll put it down here. And all you got to do is hit these frame buttons. Now that's from the 22nd at 2300, right? That just happened a few hours ago. Now, this is not this X-flare, okay? It's not. Okay, CMEs and flares are different, number one, but this eruption is not related to that X-flare whatsoever, okay? I just want to point that out because it's up here. Now, let me go show you. Let's just look at the whole day on the 22nd. And what we're going to see here, guys, obviously, is the eruptions that happened today. Now, you kind of seen something kind of pop up. That one right there. You see that? Now, there was you see how you kind of got a fuzzy halo look, like from here down? That tells me that there was still some Earth-directed component. Thank you, Lady L. Appreciate you. Gunslinger's in the hizzy. Thanks for the gifted memberships again. Wow. You guys are just like killing it. Love it. Thank you so much. But you got this halo look. And when you get that, you have to take in consideration there could be a partially Earth-directed component to this. So anybody that doesn't know this satellite, that right there is an occulter disc. It's a physical disc in front of the camera or the imager that's on the satellite. Okay? They call them observatories because it really is. It's a satellite observatory, and it's got all these detectors and imagers and all kinds of different crazy equipment on it. SETI, they call it like a SETI suite. I'm not going to get into all that right now, but I've explained that in the past. But from that point of view, it's catching these things, right? So we don't know when we see that halo or even partial halo if it's going to be coming at us or going directly off the back. A lot of these, what you're seeing, are going off the back, but that big one right there is from right there. It's from an eruption earlier, okay? And we'll take a look at that in just a second. But I'm waiting on the data to come in for this X flare, okay? So if I take you over to spaceweather.com, not spaceweather.com, that's Dr. Tony Phillips' website. This is not it's impulsive, but it's also longer duration. So when we look at flares, we got to look at X-ray. X-ray production is what determines how strong the flare is, right? So an X-class flare starts R3 storm level, which is radio blackouts. This produced a significant area of radio blackouts on the day side of the planet. Thank you, Mindful. Appreciate you. And so what I'm saying, guys, is this could give us some issues in the future, okay? And why I'm saying that is because those two sunspots, they're directly facing us right now. Now, up until this point, we've been experiencing a lot of what we call Earth-facing quiet. And what all that means is, let me take you here to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, these are sunspots, right? When you see these areas here. Now, we can look at it in a black and white view also over here, okay? And this is from SDO, the same satellite I've been using. So if I take you here, these sunspots are directly facing Earth right now. They're in the middle. But the Earth-facing quiet isn't applying this time. And we know that it cannot. Right? Hey, Vicky, email me if you have problems in the future there. I can help you out, okay? My internet mama. All right. Now, as you got this going on, this one here is the one I would have expected to be really doing a lot of the flaring. But this one up here is the one that's been producing, especially the bigger ones. Now, why do I say that? Well, do you see all these cores? Those are polarity cores, right? They're sunspot cores, but they have different polarity, negative, positive. So when I say that, red and blue represent negative and positive. So when you have a flare, what happens is there is a reconnection point when those things get drawn to each other. That reconnection point is the flare. Okay, that's when the flares happen. When you have that sudden reconnection back to the sun. And when they complete that circuit, it explodes, erupts out, right? And maybe explosion might not be the right word because that's more of a CME type of thing. But that's really, the CME and flares are the biggest space weather that we talk about. Unless you want to go talk about novas and micronovas and the big things that come from outside of our galaxy. But as you can see, when you get these things intermingling, right? I look at this and I kind of look at a weather map, a radar. You know how they show you the velocity of the winds? And when you see how they know it's a tornado is when you see winds moving opposite directions very close together, right? So when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing positive and negative, and when they get real close together, they produce a flare, a tornado, in essence. Just using that analogy so people understand. So let me just show you. Thank you guys, mods. You guys are awesome. Awesome. Hey, Michigan Lifestyle. Good to see you. Hey, Jerry. Gosh dang it. Leah, you guys smack me in the head when I do that. Anybody can, please. I'm just trying to stay focused here. This just happened, and I want everybody to see it. But anyway, so these start intermingling, and those reconnection points start happening more often, and they're more likely to happen in a sunspot like this than what we would see here. Because essentially, you've only got two different poles here, one of each polarity. And they're not even touching. These down here, you can see how this is a mess. This thing here is the one that really has my attention, but this is the one that did the X-flare. Okay, so with all that being said, this is the 94 angstrom. Now I want to point something out. I always show you, and almost every time we have any kind of significant eruption, any kind of significant flaring, the sun will be disrupted, not just where that happens. That it disrupts a large area, and sometimes it can disrupt the whole sun. You can see it travel, right? And I've shown that multiple times here. But this is a 94 angstrom, like I said. It's the same satellite as this. It's just a different part of the light spectrum. So it's seeing different gases. But when you have this doing this, now we have two significant sunspots in the Earth strike zone, which means it's right in front of us, and anything that fires from these things is going to hit us. Okay? Unless it's like a flare from earlier, or a CME that got fired straight up, right? Straight north. And I'll show that to you a little bit more here in depth also. But let me update this, see if we got any more imaging on the 94. We may or may not, I don't know. My guess is, guys, you're going to see a lot of people trying to access this website right now, and it's going to slow it down. Not to mention, I guess you could consider even this, the event itself could be slowing things down. I don't know. But check this out, guys. I mean, wham. And I am just like so impressed with this thing. This is yeah. This could end up being a pretty big deal. And again, I'm not scared of nothing. If you're getting scared of anything I'm saying right now, please go watch something else. I'm serious when I say that. I'm just trying to share information. I'm not saying this is grid down, because obviously I'm still talking to you guys. So, the flare is already hit. When the flare leaves the sun, it's here in 8 minutes. Okay? It's speed of light. Sun's 93 million miles away. Takes time to get here. Now, a CME is charged particles, right? Plasma. So it takes it anywhere between 1 to 5 days to get here. Sometimes less on the bigger, more powerful eruptions, right? Like the Carrington event was an X45. That thing was here in less than a day, okay? The flare happened, obviously, immediately. But I'm just really, really impressed with the way this thing looks, okay? So we go from, check out what's going on here. This one is flaring first. See that little eruption there? Going that way. Okay, this one kind of starts to flare first. You see that? So if we go back and we look at the X-ray production and we time that out, it was this one. So this is the southerly flare that caused R2 or high R1 radio blackouts, which in turn disrupted, destabilized this whole area and made this sunspot, or contributed to why the one on the north erupted very shortly after. Okay? So you can see, and you can even see what I'm talking about here. Watch right here how this kind of even swings around. This is how this stuff gets, transferred throughout the sun. It's magnetism. Okay? So you see how that's going? Now I want to say this too. I can kind of see a faint CME signature here, and we're not going to have real good CME information right now, okay? We just won't. It's too early. But as you can tell, wham, and it does look, any kind of CME looks like it might be going a little bit north also. But it doesn't mean there can't be an Earth-directed component, especially taking in consideration this. Okay? So this thing is... This is a big eruption, guys. And I want to point something else out here, too, that I noticed. If you look right here, you see here? If you follow my cursor, look what's going on here. That's a magnetic connection line, guys. These two sunspots are communicating with each other. Is what I'm trying to tell you. It's just getting transferred. It really is. Now, with that being transferred over the equatorial regions of the sun, that can mean a whole lot of different things also. And I'm not going to get into what all that is, but what I will say is that, you know, because, and the reason why, in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere of the sun, the polarities of the sunspots, you see how you got red, blue, and over here it's blue, red. That's the difference. When the sun does a pole flip at this termination event, which is what restarts the sun cycle, okay, I won't say restart, but sun cycle's gauged by that polarity flip, and that's when the new cycle starts to begin. So when you're looking at this stuff, those polarities will flip. So during the next sun cycle, guess what? The blue in the northern hemisphere is going to be on the left, and it's going to be vice versa down here. So with that being said, when they start communicating across equatorial regions, you're not going to see sunspots in this area. Not until real close to the termination event. Now, we do see them from time to time, but it ain't going to be a consistent thing. You can kind of see a line right here where they're all showing up. And I've explained why that happens also. As we get further and further, they do migrate towards the equatorial regions because the two poles are attracted to one another. So they're being drawn to each other. So those magnetic connection lines get kinks in them, lack of a better term there, and that's your sunspot that pops up. Okay? So as these migrate, and then the termination event happens when they meet in the middle. Pole flip. Okay? So just like what's going to happen here when we have our polarity flip. It's a natural cycle. Hey, Miss Dragon, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Also, guys, I am going to be, there's a widget I'm going to have to install, and I'll be able to highlight your guys' messages live right here where I'm doing this. Okay? So just know that. I haven't, I want to put that back. I used to have it anyway when I was helping Tommy do the lifeboat, and that way we could highlight messages. But, yeah. I took that off my widget because it kind of eats up a little bit of bandwidth. And I'm going to put it back so I can show you guys your guys' highlighted messages. And, you know, it ain't something I got to, like, read out. I can just show it to you. But anyway, I want to show this to you. I keep updating this because I want you guys to see it. This thing is still erupting. It's still producing a lot of X-ray. And this thing that's a big spot, guys. That is a lot of energy. And again, like I said, it's right in front of us. So, again, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, grid down me, that stuff. I don't think it's grid down or I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. What I am going to say is that if the CME is going to be coming at us from this particular eruption, we could see some electrical issues. Okay, that's what I will say. Because it's just what it is, right? So this is the same satellite. That right there, you see that? Let me zoom in for you guys a little bit more. Okay. Thank you, Seeking Truth. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm humbled every time you guys do that. I'm embarrassed too, believe it or not. I'm kind of shy when it comes to stuff like that. I just know how hard people work, and when they're willing to support like that, no matter how big or small, it's still a sacrifice in my opinion, and I'm completely humbled by it. So thank you, anybody that does super chat or become a member. I'm going to try to make sure everybody understands that I am going to work my hardest to earn all that. So just know that, guys. So thank you for being here with me and doing all that with me. And I'm still learning, guys. So you guys are going to learn with me. But anyway, here is that first eruption. You see how it just kept producing plasma or shooting plasma out? It's almost like, I don't know, it's like it was just like a blowtorch instead of like a big open furnace. I guess that would be a good analogy to give you guys an idea of what I'm kind of thinking here. But anyway, this one erupts and you can see the plasma. Now, if this had happened on the limb, this would be a very visually dramatic thing, because you would have the blackness of space as a contrast. We sometimes miss CMEs when they're right in this area, especially if they're small, because the sun kind of camouflages it. You can't see it. So you got to rely on the instruments, which is okay too, of when things happen. But during solar maximum, we have so many different eruptions, and it's hard to catch all of them sometimes. But that's the first eruption. That's from that, the one I showed you here. Nope, wrong one. Let's just go up here and do this. How about that? But it's the one I showed you guys here. It fired off the north side of the sun. Right about there. Okay? It's not, again, if that was coming right at us, I will say this. That did produce a pretty good ball of plasma. See it over here on the red view? So that's what I'll say to that. But anyway. So, again, guys, this is yeah. But this, back to the 304. Okay, let me do this for you. I want you guys to see the X flare. That was that high M class flare from down here. But this was from an earlier one. It really didn't flare a whole lot with this one. There was more of a CME release there than a flare. Okay? So as I go forward here, we're going to watch the X flare. Let me scroll down just a touch. And I'm looking at this for the first time with you guys. These new images. This is just happening. And again, guys, I typically don't do this. You guys know that. And why I'm showing it to you like this is the fact that you can see how there was hardly anything going on there for a while, for a few hours, and then everything just lights up. And you can clearly see that that's opening up what we call a canyon of fire. And it's not a canyon of fire, though. Okay, so it's just, it visually looks like that. And that's what they call it. Okay, it's nothing more than a CME that's or a filament or whatever getting ripped off the sun. Okay, that's what it is. It's not a big old canyon of whatever. So look at that. It is still erupting. It's still producing X-ray right now as I'm talking to you. Okay, unless the models are behind a little bit. And let's check the time on this. That's 2:32 UTC. If you're on the East Coast, it's a 4-hour difference. Okay? So that's what I will say. Carrington app. Good, man. Thanks a lot for the membership, buddy. Guys, get over and check out that app. You guys want to see this flare in... Hey, okay. Good to see you, bud. Thanks, man. If you guys want to see a good... Well, thank you, 5G. Appreciate that. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. So, if you want to see this stuff in a good visual, go over to the Carrington app on any of your Play stores. It's a really good app, guys. It shows you these flares. It shows the CMEs. It shows some of the end spirals. It's a very good put together app, and he does a really good job with that, guys. He really does. It's awesome. It's a really cool thing. But anyway, you can see that this thing here is just, it's still going. So we're for 4-hour difference from UTC, right? So when that happens, we got to take in consideration the time difference, number one. Number two, there's going to be a lag in data that we get to see. Okay? So at 2:32 UTC is when this happened. It's still happening, right? So that would make it 10:32 on the East Coast. What time is it? This is still happening. That's my point. Okay? So just know that. This is still happening. The it's the, and again, it's the flare part of it that's still happening. Any kind of CME that would have ripped off, unless it goes ahead and erupts again, has already been blown out into space. Now I can't see anything in particular to point you guys to with that yet. But again, we're going to wait on more data. So, again, let me pull this back. Now, it's such a large area again from this sunspot. It's just, all that energy is just getting pulled in. And if you look, you see these dark filaments, right? I mean, it's like surrounding it. This is just impressive to me. So you can clearly see that thing opens up, right? Thank you, Trish. Appreciate you, girl. Thank you. And hubby. Thank you so much. Now, watch this thing rip open. Woof. It blows my mind. The sun fascinates me, obviously, guys. I mean, I think you guys already knew that. But let's take a look at it in a different angstrom, because we also got a coronal hole that we're going to have to be dealing with. That energy should be, that solar wind should be impacting us very shortly. Okay? Why is that doing that? Hold on one second, guys. I don't know why that's not loading. Wow. Okay, so if I push play, what's that do? Anything? Nope. All right, well, we're going to do this then. We're going to click that off. We're going to go up here. And we're going to bring another one out. How about that? Unless this thing isn't responding right now. It is. Okay. Wow, look at that, guys. That's the newest image right there. But I'm going to show you guys the 211, okay? There it goes. Okay, there's that coronal hole. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But yeah, so let me I'm going to pause this and we're going to get some more images here. Let's just go back. Well, we can go back 300. That's as far as this will let you go back. It's 300 frames. And you're getting an image every, I think it's every 12 minutes. Let's see. So if we go here, 233. Okay, this is every 4 minutes. This one is. The 211 isn't, though. The 211 actually gives us a little bit more spaced out, but it actually will let you see more in the scope of overall time. I mean, we can go back further, too. You just got to keep going back 300 frames. So if I grab this, we were connected to this coronal hole. So with that thing being connected, it's just going to flow out. Just woof, 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 woof. I mean, we're going to get hammered by that here in the next day or so. And what I mean by hammered, we could get a G1, possibly a G2 out of it. Geomagnetic storm. But let me show you. This is the eruptions from yesterday. Right? That big one I showed you guys? Right there. Okay? You see how that disrupted the corona? I mean, like, big time? Yeah. And also, that's a very deep coronal hole. That, for those that don't know, that is a hole in the corona, the atmosphere of the sun. It's not a hole in the sun. You're actually looking at the opposite. That's the surface. Surface of the sun is colder than the atmosphere. Okay? But anyway, there's that big one. Right? If we keep moving forward, we're going to see the other ones here. There was that other one, right? There. I know it's kind of hard to see. The one that shot off to the north. Okay? And there it went again. Now, that. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. There's definitely a CME involved with this one, guys. I'm just going to say it right now. Too much of the atmosphere was, you can see the wake there. and it's still erupting, like I said. Look at that. Look at those. Wow. Again, guys, I'm probably going to do another one later on. I'm not dropping this stream right now. I'm just saying that, yeah, I'm probably going to have to do another one later on. It may be early in the morning, or it could be a little bit later. Not sure yet. Depending on what happens. I'm going to keep an eye on it throughout the night, like I always do. But do you guys see how the corona gets disrupted? Watch. See that kind of hazy look happening? So I do think that there's probably going to be somewhat of a Earth-directed component to this. I can't tell you exactly how much yet. I'm going to be very curious to see what Seeds has to offer. Okay? I'm waiting on this thing to update. Let's do this. Hold on. Anything? Nope. Okay. So, we're going to have to wait on that part of it. But there's one thing we can do, though. I forgot about this. Hold on. Ah, shoot. We can look at that same satellite. We just won't get the black and white version. So, let's do that. Let's go look at LASCO C2, which is that one I just showed you guys. Remember, guys, these are just websites that put the data online for you, okay? They're all using the same data from the same satellite. So this one here is ISWA, and ISWA is just a hub. It's where you guys can come and see all these different models and tools that they have. People, I get asked the question a lot too. How come we get to see these? Well, because our tax dollars pay for it. That's why. That's the only reason why. So I'm looking at this. It says 323. And again, guys, I'm still timid to say that there's a big CME with this. I don't know yet. Judging by this, I just can't say that. You know, I can go up here and show you why I think that there's possibly an Earth-directed component, because you see the atmosphere of the sun get disrupted. I mean, it's not hard to see. Okay? But like I will say, it kind of looks like it's like that. It doesn't look like, what I'm saying is, it doesn't look like it's coming this way. It doesn't mean that there's not part of it coming this way. It just means that what I'm seeing here, it looks to be going a little bit to our east, or our west, I'm sorry, and north. Now, I will say this, if I was just looking at this, and this is all I had, I would say, hey, we're probably going to get some sort of a side blow or a glancing blow. Now, that's not going to happen for a couple of days. Okay? We already got the x-ray, and that's what you're looking at. So, okay. Now, I want to show you guys the actual the x-ray. Excuse me, sorry. You guys see how up here, this is 24-hour maximums. Okay? So that's an R3 radio blackout. Anytime you get an X flare, that's what that's going to say. And if you get a higher X flare, it's going to keep going up. R4, R5. Right? This is latest observed. So at this present time, our detectors are picking up enough X-ray that we're seeing an R1 radio blackout continuing. Thank you, Nita. Great to have you as a member. Thank you. This is that geomagnetic storm we had yesterday. Okay, it didn't do a whole lot. We've seen a little increased aurora, but not a whole lot. See how it tailed off real quick? Okay? But if I go down here and show you guys the X-ray background, check this out. When you see the bullseye signature like that, that's a flare. If you see it start to filter in on the poles, that's radiation. That's protons. And we do see that from time to time. We get radiation storms. Okay? Thank you, 5G. I appreciate you. Whoever got those, thank 5G in there. Hey, give me a roll call in there, guys, if you would. Just give me a hey. I'm from whatever region. I would be curious because right now, this X flare, anybody in Australia got blasted with this thing. Okay, you see that? And we all know what's going on over here. Which I highly suggest you guys go over and watch Adam and Dex when they're talking about all this stuff here. If you guys know what I'm saying, I'm not going to say the words because it just gets the video crammed. But yeah, so you got that over here. Now, it's a big area, guys. X flares usually do produce pretty decent sized areas here, and you can see how things start doing whatever here. But we go to the end. See how this is still tailing off. So I don't think the R1 that we're seeing, it's just a residual of what's going on, and it is still producing X-ray at the present time. I can't look at anything else and say anything different than that. There is one view that I want you guys to check out that I haven't done yet. Is it going to do that to me? What a piece of butt crack. You know what I mean? Come on now. We try to do some space weather here. We're not talking about practice. We're talking about practice, not a game. Anybody knows that? Kudos to you. It's a basketball interview. Thing that happened. I'm not going to go into detail on that, but guy was getting interviewed and in the locker room. We're talking about practice, not a game. We're talking about practice. I just think it's funny. All right, so where we at? Where we all at? Alabama. Hey, Joanne. Oregon. Good to see you, Beans and Franks. Lady L, what's up? UK, baby. Heck yeah. I like my people from across the pond. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Any Australians in there? Love you too. It's all right, Linda. Hey, I'm just glad you're here. Carrington 2024, Earth Directed. Yes, it is, Carrington. We got hit. We got hit with some X-ray, but it's the CME. We're still going to have to wait for data. I do think that there's an Earth-directed component to it, and we could get some sort of CME impact from that, but it's too early for me to try to even guess, really. And like I said, guys, I'm not one to come out here. I used to be. Just jump out. Oh, this is happening. This is happening. No, I'm showing you exactly. I'm nowcasting is what I call it. Got that from Ryan Hall. If you guys don't know who he is, YouTube him. He'll be the first name you see. Back at you, PK. To replace this movie? That's a good one, Gary. Thank you for being a member if I missed you. I'm not sure if I said hey to that. Hey, Wanna song. You guys might have been gifted. Wow, 5G, what's up? Man, 10? That's incredibly generous. Thank you so much. Wow. Man, you guys are awesome. Awesome, awesome stuff. Man. But anyway, guys, check out the 171. It's another gas, right? And it's the same satellite, but we're able to see different things when we look at different gases, right? That was the X-flare, I think. Yep. Okay, now you're seeing it disrupt the corona again, right? So let me, you see how that's all just filled? See it spiraling? Look at that. Ain't that cool? Remember what we're looking at there. We're looking at plasma traveling on a magnetic connection line. So that's why you're able to see like spirals. Okay, because the particles are on a magnetic connection line like that. See it spinning? It's not wind. I know we call it solar wind, but it's not wind in the sense that high pressure is moving towards low pressure like here on the planet, and our hair gets blown back like Joe Dirt, right? But right there, Joe Dirty. Talking through the microphone. Here's my backup. Just kidding. Get some ketchup and eat some fries tonight, guys. Anyway, sorry, guys. But yeah, so you see that now. That's the X flare, I believe. Pretty sure it was. Well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe that was that first eruption. There's the, look at that. Wow. That's just freaking cool. You guys seeing that, right? I know it might be a little hard. And matter of fact, I'm going to back it off a little. That way you guys get more of a, kind of like, I use a little bit different technique sometimes when I'm looking at these. Sometimes I actually force my eyes to go out of focus. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but sometimes I'll see more things when I do that. I'll catch things that I typically wouldn't. It's kind of like if you go outside and you look up at a street light and you start to squint. You know how the lights just kind of beam out, become like a beam going in all directions. That's kind of like what I do with these models when I look at them sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. But yeah, so you can see. Now I want to point something else out here too. This right here is before it erupted, and it was like in this state for quite a few minutes. You see these arches? See how tall they are? That's before it erupted, guys. You got a connection point here, and you got a big, long, arching connection line. Right? So, watch when it erupts. See how tall that is? You can see it here. I mean, that's above average, is what I'll say, when we're talking about size there. And you can still see it's still producing. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one for sure. But again, guys, I do look for more eruptions. Things are just too unstable, and they are right in front of us now. So that Earth-directed, Earth-facing quiet is not happening with this one. And this is kind of what we've been talking about, right? So far, we've had a lot of Earth-facing quiet sunspots. What does that mean? Does anybody know what that means? Wow, you get another buy more. Well, thank you, 5G. Appreciate you. Wow. Hey, River. So, yeah. See, I squirreled now. I forgot what I was going to say. I got to quit doing that, don't I? So, yeah, I think we can expect some more eruptions here, right? It's directly facing us. These things are so unstable. I don't think this is it, is what I'm trying to say. The Earth-facing quiet is not applying because it has up until now. So this is kind of what we've been watching for. Now, again, this is not a complete direct CME shot at Earth. This is not, I'm not coming out here saying grid down, nothing like that, okay? But yeah. Well, thank you, Deep Quick. Appreciate you, bud. Man, you guys are just crazy, crazy, crazy. Wow. Like seeing all them names in green. Y'all look good in green. Yeah, if you guys make it to the second month of memberships, you will see that change color. I think I got, I'm not sure what the second color is. I forget what I did. Might be orange, or I guess it could have been green. But if you're a member for 6 months, it will you'll get a blue face. Blue Kool-Aid, baby. And then anything after that, I actually got some gold ones. I made all the faces different colors. Hopefully you guys like that. I mean, and I'm going to be able to add some more emojis now, even after tonight, because of all the memberships you guys bought. It's just, you guys are blowing my mind there, guys. I just can't even tell you. Wow. So humbled. Thank you. But anyway, as you can see, that thing blasting off. Now, again, guys, I know I'm kind of going over the same information over and over here. I'm really just trying to show you as much as I can. I don't have anything more than that. That's why I'm kind of repeating it. But what I will do is this. Okay. This is Dr. Tony Phillips at spaceweather.com. Please go check him out. I haven't looked at his site today. But he's talking about Comet Pons Brooks 12P, the one that's supposed to be visible during the solar eclipse. It'll be visible up here, like the north. Well, if you go outside and look at the sun, it will be to the left, okay? Left and north of the sun a little bit. But this thing is spiraling. Check that out. It's been doing it for a while. So, but this is going to be a very, very big event. It's very, very, it's cool that that's going to be there during an eclipse. So, I'll just leave that at that. Now, we did see, he's talking about the geomagnetic storm. We did get hit from a glancing blow, and some of the Earth was impacted by cracks in the magnetic field. Thanks again, Deep Quake. Man, what the heck, brother? What's going on there? Wow, you guys are killing it. Hey, Zenwin. But again, guys, this thing is going to be a big event, and it's very rare to see, number one, a complete, solar eclipse, depending on where you're at in the world. If you were to stand in the same spot on Earth and never move, that would be very rare to see a complete eclipse, right? Sometime during your life. You would probably see, I'm not sure what the stats are on that. But given that, it just adds to the rarity and the specialness of what I'm talking about with this. And I know some people are going to downplay this. Other people are going to try to hype it up to more than what it is. But I land somewhere in the middle. I just think it's really cool stuff. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anything bad is going to happen at that moment. But just remember, when we got hit with this geomagnetic storm, some cracks got opened up, and we seen aurora in Australia. Okay? Why is that? Well, they love the equinoxes. Aurora do. Okay? It's the Russell McPherson, I forget what is it McPherson or McPherson effect? It's an effect around the equinoxes that we see more aurora lower latitudes, like in the mid-latitude area, okay? So what that means is cracks open up further south or north, just closer to the equator. So what I'm saying here is the fact that around spring and fall, you will see more aurora. It's just what we see in the data, and this is why. I'm not sure exactly why we see more. My guess is it would be because of the position and how we're tilted. Okay? It changes our magnetics. So if our axis points the same direction no matter what time of year it is. Okay, so if you're pointed towards the sun, the northern hemisphere, the North Pole, is more towards the sun during the summertime. And then during winter, it's still staying pointed the same direction, but it's on the other side of the sun. So that means the North Pole is actually pointing away at that time. In the southern hemisphere, the South Pole will be pointing towards. That's why we see the seasons, okay? It's the biggest reason. Our axis doesn't change as far as like keeping pointed one direction or the other. It stays like that. Now, it does move a little, okay? I'm not going to go into all that because that opens up a whole different... yeah. He's talking... You see this right here? This is that sunspot. That was just saying. Down here. Okay? Deep Quake, what are you doing, man? Wow. Thank you. Holy cow. Wow. 20? Are you kidding me? Wow. So generous. My gosh, people. Wow. Thanks, bud. Appreciate you. Oh my gosh. But this is that sunspot. So Dr. Tony Phillips is talking about it also. Okay, so that's what I'll say on that one. He's talking about how complex it is. It looks like, yeah, it's got 40 plus cores. That's a lot. So again, that's why we're seeing the intermixing happening. And that's why we're seeing some of the stuff that's going on here, right? Hey, Mama Hamster, good to see you. Okay, so guys, I don't have much more right now. I am going to have to go ahead and end the stream here, but we're getting some magnetic activity right now, geomagnetism. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Hold on one second here, guys. Let me show you this before we get out of here. And anybody that became a member, please go. There is already a members only post up. Well, who we got here? Who we got here? Seeking Truth. Thank you. Wow. Man, you guys are just killing it. Man, I can't. Man, I don't even know what to say. So cool. Thank you. Man, what's up, Leisure? But this is our magnetosphere, right? Now, remember, the sun has a heliosphere. Just like our magnetic field protects us from the sun has a heliosphere that protects us from stuff outside our solar system. Same premises, okay? Same thing. So that's what I'll say on that one. But this is the magnetic pressure. Sun's off to the left. Any kind of energy coming is going to come from the left, typically. We do get cosmic rays from other directions and things like that. But typically, most of the stuff we see is going to come from the sun, as far as space weather. I'm going to pause it here. And you're going to see, I haven't looked at this yet. Okay, you see that little bump right there? Watch it vibrate. See that? That's probably why this is showing an increase. Okay? That's an increase in magnetic activity. That's the KP index. It's just the measurement they use. Unit of measurement that they use. So, but yeah. Back at you, Carol. Appreciate you. Yeah. Exactly. Daniel. Okay, so this thing is still happening. This is turning into a long duration effect event. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this, guys. And I promise you, if anything big happens, I'll be right back on. If anything can wait a few, I'm probably gonna wait until morning or in the middle of the night tonight sometime, and we'll go ahead and do it that way. Because I want to get you guys the right data. I don't want to sit out here and have to do what I'm doing now a little bit. And that's kind of guesstimating. What I will say, this is the Discover. This is solar wind data. What are we looking at? The BZ, right? We're always looking for that. We want the -6 or more. -6 or more, this will show up in purple. That means our magnetic positioning is in a position that we'll couple with it. Well, thank you again, Deep Quake. What are you doing, man? Wow. Thank you. 5 more. My gosh. You guys are just awesome. Man, I don't even know what to... I'm just so... Wow. Man, you guys are awesome. I just don't even know what to say. Anyway, the -6 shows up here, and that's what we look for. So when we couple with all that, because of that magnetic positioning, the more we couple, the higher into the negative numbers you go, the more you couple to all this stuff. And it grabs a hold of that, and it gets sucked in on our poles. So with the BZ dipping down like that, the phi angle is actually, this right here, is actually the polarity of the solar wind itself. And it does flip. It's called the phi angle. So when the polarity flips right there, you'll get a little jerk on your magnetic field typically. That itself can give us a geomagnetic storm. But the phi angle can actually be influenced also by other things. So when we see the BZ go down to -6 and everything else back here is moving, you can pretty much rest assured we're being impacted by something. I can't give you an exact thing what that is right now because I wasn't expecting to see that. But the density, see the orange? That's at 34. That's pretty high. And it happened right as that BZ change. See it? So that's might be why we're seeing this increase. It increased quite a bit in just a few hours there. Okay? So they are predicting a G1 storm on the 25th. I'm thinking that they're saying, like right here, I bet they're thinking that that first eruption, guys, that I showed you that went off the north, that's the second one right there. That's the X flare. But the first one, I think, is what's they're thinking that CME, or one of the CMEs that happened today, is they're probably thinking it might be giving us a glancing blow. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But you see all that energy and all that plasma just flowing? See that? So I don't know if there was an Earth-directed component to that. Still waiting on all the images, guys. I wish I could give you more right now. But I can't. I just don't have the data. It just is what it is. What causes the Carrington event, the X flare, or the CME? Well, we call it, Chewy, it's not, the event is just the event, right? But until that point, they thought a flare and a CME was the same thing. They thought everything was happening from the same dynamic, all right? But because of that event and what everybody started looking there, they noticed that there was a difference between the X-ray production versus the timing of when a CME would hit. So even though they oftentimes happen at the same time, it does not mean that they're the same thing. Because I've shown you guys time and time again, we get flares that hit us and give us radio blackouts, but they don't give us a CME that would, start affecting our electricity and everything, right? It's not geomagnetism. That's X-ray. So that's how they differentiate that. So simply you can say flares, just think in your mind X-ray production. CMEs, think in your mind plasma hit. That's all you, really, that's kind of, if you want to simplify that, just to kind of understand it in that basic form, you can kind of think of it like that. But again, there's other ways to explain all that, and you can go into so much detail. I could have you guys here for 5 hours, if not longer. And speaking of that, go check out Tamitha Scope. She does an awesome job. Tamitha Scope is her name. She's in my awesome channel list. You guys go down there and look. Just click on it. It's basically free college. Again, guys, I've never had a personal conversation with Tamitha outside of her comment section, okay? She answered a few of my questions in the comment section, which is very helpful. But I've learned a lot from over there, and I would highly encourage you guys to go check that out. And again, guys, all the people I always speak about, guys, Marv, Adam and Dex over on Marfugo, Ilea is here, Ripper, Jammer. I mean, you guys kill it. Hey, Ron, and Ron also. He's the earthquake guy. Go check him out. But in the lifeboat, guys, go check out the lifeboat. Tommy, my brother Tommy's over there. I used to co-host for a couple years with him over there. Go check that channel out. There's actually a link on my page to go ahead and click that, or just go down the awesome channel list, and I think it's the first or second one there. But please go check it out. There's a lot of good content over there. It's based around recovery. Addiction recovery. He's branched out in some other areas now, which allows the thing to open up and bring more people in. But yeah, so hey, baby girl, love you. That's my daughter, guys. She killed it last night in her performance, by the way. I know some of you guys were asking. She was killing it. So proud. But anyway, I am going to go ahead and get off here, guys. Been on here actually a little longer than I really expected myself to be, but that's okay. I just want to give you guys the right information. And again, guys, I'm going to nowcast. I am not going to forecast anything outside of a day or two ahead of us. Okay? I hope that helped you understand, Chewbacca. If not, we can try to help you again and try to explain it in a different way. Just let me know next time, guys. But be looking out for some membership stuff. I did one today. I showed you guys the previous Sunspot. I just kind of put together a few little images and posted it, and thought it was only like a 2 or 3 minute video, or was it 4? Like a 4-minute video. And you know, guys, the stuff I'm talking about right now here on my channel is not going to change. I'm just adding that little extra stuff. So thank you guys for allowing me to do that, and hopefully I can earn everything you guys are helping me with. You guys are awesome. So anyway, guys, God bless. Yahusha saves. And watch out for them X flares. Anything happens, I'll be back. You can drink this Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid Krew.